I say there shall be no war further in the Ukraine. We don't need NATO unless Russia is a member of NATO. We don't need a military alliance because nobody needs any militaries now. We don't. We need good, nice, gentle, well-trained, bodhisattvic, Christian, Islamically virtuous, whatever religion you want, virtuous, secularist, humanist, police to keep bad guys from doing bad things. But we don't need militaries because there's no bad nations. There are only good people on this planet. And they can work it out. And they should also we can clean up this planet destroyed by this violence and militarism. But it's saved by our intelligence because we made weapons that are too powerful even to use. Even the maddest madman might even try to use them in a way they will not fly. They will not explode. Bodhisattvas will wrap the uranium in their hair. They will. Those explosions will go into reverse. They will not happen. And these intermediate ones of vacuum bombs, local missiles, bullets, even knife-tipped swords, forget about it. Let's have art. What I want to say is, let there be a negotiation. And let that negotiation be a global negotiation. And let everyone come to that negotiation. Let it be televised for everyone to see. And let everyone be able to register in an internet what they want to see a conclusion of. Everyone. Let it be voted on. Do they want to see one more Russian or one more Ukrainian killed? No. Or one more black refugee from Africa being thrown out because they're black killed? No. Or one more refugee from some destroyed by American evil, egotists, crazies, sad people who think they'll be happy with more power, which they won't. And they haven't been. We take responsibility. We accept that guilt. Accept the guilt for this foolish war. Vladimir. Give it up. And what's your name, President? Fake president, not president, false president of Belarus. You will abdicate as one of the conditions of the peace. You will let that woman who was elected be the president of Belarus. We will have democracy and women will be listened to. And you guys get out of your tanks. And there'll be no gas and oil for your tanks. Get out of them. You're not nice anyway. You can't have a jacuzzi in a tank. And these are the terms. No more violence. Withdraw all those machineries. Burn enough gas to get them out of the countryside. Melt them down and turn them into windmills, water wheels, solar panels. Actually, thorium reactors to fill the gap, to keep the lights on in the cities, to drive electric cars and things around. So people can't just suddenly change and go out and be hippies and eat carrots. There's two big cities have to be electrified, and they need all kinds of energy. And the greenhouses that will feed them and their vertical towers need to have energy, electricity. So we need some kind of reactors as well as all the wind and this and that. We can use the atoms. In those hair tip atoms, there can be produced warm energy for growing, green energy. Just like expand your definition of green, all ye hippies. And we will have peace there. And we will have peace guarantees. And, white helmets, UN. But I'll go. They don't have to be professional soldiers. Greta Thunberg will go. All the youth, let's have a vacation from school. They'll all go. We'll all promise to learn Russian. And all that money, you don't have to compete with the West with nuclear powers. We will disarm all the nuclear weapons. Everybody will disarm them. Israel, you will disarm them. And the US, you will disarm them. And Pakistan, you will disarm them. And India, you will disarm them. This will all be part of the peace in the Ukraine. We'll all guarantee it. And everybody's children will go and see to it that the grown-ups will do it. Where are Joe Manchin's grandchildren? He should go and be ashamed of himself. His grandchildren tell him, we do not want to read your cold dust, Grandpa. You cut it out. You cut that filibuster, that slavery filibuster that strangled the democratic government, the model of a democratic government in the world of violence 250 years ago. You should be ashamed of yourself, prolonging that paralysis and dooming poor Mitch McConnell to feeling indigestion, sitting there listening to common sense and hoping for means of strangling that common sense so he can drag everybody else into his own misery. Meanwhile, he needs pleasure and fun, and so do you, Grandpa. We don't want Grandpa to die miserably. We want you to be happy and healthy, have a lot of massages, go to Menla. There should be 10 Menlas in Ukraine and in Russia, 100 of them, for all ex-generals and weirdos who don't know how to have sex properly. And you can compete. You have the greatest ballerinas. You can have the greatest ice champion dancers. You put all your money into that, not with drugs, but with training, with joy. That mansion in Sochi should be an Olympic, rest garden for your athletes. That's where all the money should go. All those boys, instead of dying in those troop carriers in the Ukraine and killing nice Ukrainians, they should go and they should train in martial arts, the Olympics. You're a martial artist. Get your butt going back, Mr. Vladimir. Stop sitting at the end of long tables, scared even of your own officials. Put a bunch of beautiful women on that table. Have them tell you what they want. They don't want to kill other beautiful women. They'll compete for beauty. You have a fashion industry in Russia. Come on. You have Hollywood in Russia. Where's Hollywood in Russia? You can have Hollywood. Russians are fantastic. Let their talents out. Stop this grim, stupid, materialist militarism. That's the condition. Demilitarize. Point by point, everybody. Let Ukraine be a zone of peace. Let Uyghur country be a zone of peace. Tell Xi Jinping that's how you will ally with him. You will let Ukraine be demilitarized. He must let the Uyghur people free. Let them be spiritual. Let Tibetan people free. Let the Mongolian people be free. Then they federate in decentralized states like European Union. Have unions everywhere of local federated free people, democratic people. That's the condition. That's the guarantee. You cannot rule by fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. But love is not to be afraid of. That's what you want, is love, don't you? You would like to be worshipped. Do you think Lenin? You don't even like Lenin. And you have him in a glass case. His poor body is petrified plastic body there, sitting out in Red Square. That shouldn't be there in Red Square. He should be decently buried or whatever you like to do for the Orthodox burial. Or maybe, okay, he wasn't a Christian. Humanistic burial. Whatever. Then you should have rock concerts in Red Square. Thurman should be there. And whatever, Boris, whatever his name is. And fabulous operas. You can compete in opera. You can compete with the Italians. That's where you should spend your money, not on these stupid weapons. And Americans also should cut it out. And we will. We don't want you to give us the fear excuse where our bad guys can domineer us in fear and racism and nonsense and baloney. We want more fun in America. We want you to have more fun. That's what we want in this plan. That's what the Ukrainian. They have a comedian for president. We promised to nominate Chris Rock. Okay, where is your best comedian? You nominate them. You happily advocate. You don't have to give the orders. You go to a spa until you've got your martial arts back on, until you've been forgiven by your ex-wife, by your children and your grandchildren, or your girlfriends, or whatever. You have as many as you like. That's all right. Nobody's going to bother you. Nobody's going to have vengeance for you. Yes, you killed too many journalists. Yes, you shut down too many opposition newspapers. Yes, you ushered in an era of really boring propaganda TV. Where's the Russian Netflix to compete? HBO, where is it? You put your money into that. You have a lot of talented people. Let their talents free. Stop sending them in metal machines to go kill other people and be killed themselves. That's the condition of the peace. Ukrainians will sign this. They have a comedian, president. They like show business. They know that politics is show business. But fear of show business is no good. We don't want real life tragedies. We prefer comedy. So this kind of radical peace offering will come from Blinken and Biden. We will see to it. And Ursula von der Leyen. And look, the British have a comedian, the old British Empire people. If Bojo isn't a comedian, he's a misplaced profession. Look at that hairdo. He's trying to be a comedian. Because the comedian gets laughs from the audience. They don't have some forced salute because they're terrified you're going to kill them. They get laughs, and the audience loves the guy who makes them laugh. You go to comedy school, Vladimir, and you will flourish. And that guy, you need some fashion advice. The guy in Belarus, really, his mustache, he looks like he needs lots of therapy. So I'm gonna put an outline for a peace proposal that is credible on all sides and will be approved by women in all directions. Okay? By all the Russian women and all the Ukrainian women and all the Belarusian women, and there is a woman president, properly should be installed, and no vengeance for the guy who killed people, he did this and that. No vengeance, or the police of his who did it. Don't be afraid. Everyone's a sinner. We all have a dark side. But no more. We'll fund the police to become gentle. We'll fund gentle police. And harsh police will fund their re-education and continued employment and better benefits for them. The more gentle they are, the better their pension. Everything can be solved on this planet easily if you just get rid of the fear, real or fake. I got tearful reading that because somehow, magically, I think magic will prevail. Miracle will happen now. Uspensky was Russian in Turks of the Miraculous. Let's get all the communists to study that instead of Marxism. Study that dictatorship of the proletariat was one really dumb idea. But also, when capitalists, as Biden put it, work without competition, become too predatory, that's really bad too. Oligarchic, is unnecessary. People getting so out of control and so isolated, they can become very, very unrealistic on either direction. We'll grant you that. Okay, but dictatorship sucks. Any wife will tell you she doesn't want a dictator for a husband. Husband doesn't need a dictator for a wife, for that matter, but they don't want to be dictators. They want everyone to relax, chill. Okay, that's the nature of life. So dedicate the merit to peace in Ukraine. May all beings in Ukraine become Buddhas, including the bad guys, the generals, the ones insisting on violence, the ones who are trying to like make it all dark. And Elon, your Starlink should better get busy, because we need video so that you can't destroy a city and its television station and then kill people in the dark. Everything that the bad guys do has to be visible to everybody else. Everything has to be done in transparency. And then people automatically will be human. And they'll be people. And they won't be horrible and vicious and crazed and brutal and barbaric. Because even they have machinery that seems to be modern and high-tech. They know to mistreat other people lethally and torture them and do this kind of thing is barbaric. You can have industrial barbarism too. And sending in 200,000 people with all these missiles and weapons and bombing civilians is terrorism, and it's barbarism. It's industrial barbarism. You don't have to have some crazy-looking guy with a blowing up one plane on one building or something. Those missiles are just like planes on 9/11. Just as terroristic as one suicide bomber. So we don't need that. So we need to be able to see everything that happens in the Ukraine, and everybody needs to see it. C-SPAN on multiple channels. What every policeman does, what every criminal does, what everybody does. So that there can only be gentle things done, no violent crimes. We dedicate the merit, everyone become a Buddha, all the Ukrainians, all the Russians, all the Belarusians, all the Romanians, all the Moldovans, all the Finns, the Swedes, everyone. And Om Tari, and Tara is out there trying to stop the war. Om Tari Tutari Vajradvalaram Pat Pat Raksha Raksha Swaha. My Guru Sutramalyoni gave us the fierce Tara who stops all wars, the savioress who stops all wars. Om Tara Tutari Turi Vajradvalaram Pat Pat Raksha Raksha Swaha. Om Tari Tutari Turi Vajradvalaram Pat Pat Raksha Raksha Swaha. Om Tari Tutari Turi Vajradvalaram Pat Pat Raksha Raksha Swaha. Om Tari Tutari Turi Vajradvalaram Pat Pat Raksha Raksha Swaha. Om Tari Tutari Turi Vajradvalaram Pat Pat Raksha Raksha Swaha. Thank you, Tara Ji.